Hola. So, just giving advice this week on preparing for a job fair. First rule of thumb is you want to make sure that you look into who is going to be in attendance. That can easily be found on the flyer, or you can find a website link with information about the event, or hopefully the flyer has an email address and for contact, and you can reach out to them to confirm who's going to be there. You want to know who's going to be there first so you can create a hit list. This is the list of all of the employers that you for sure want to have your face connect with that day. When you do create your hit list, first you want to do research prior to the event. So you want to look at the company's vision, the company's mission, maybe see what they've been involved in recently, if they've been in the news, if they've had some sort of expansion. You want to check out the website to see if they have any jobs or opportunities already posted. That way you know how to sort of market yourself when you do meet with them in person. Number 2, you want to make sure that you dress to impress. Pretty much when you're picking out what you're going to wear, of course you want to make sure that it's nice and comfortable, but you also want to make sure that you keep in mind how you want to be remembered. You only get one chance to make a first impression, so really think about the best possible way to show that you are taking this opportunity seriously and you really want to be considered. And also for the ladies, I would suggest making sure that you wear flat shoes, just because you don't want to be that person limping from table to table, struggling to keep it together. That could be a distraction, or it could spark a conversation that you don't really want to have at that time. It's a little awkward. So you want to try your best to avoid having that situation. Number 3, you want to bring the proper documents. So, of course, you need to have a nice, clean, neat, crispy resume. You want to have multiple copies of that resume, so that way you can just freely pass those about as you talk to each employer or visit each employer table. So the resume is also a form of first impression. So you want to make sure that it's clear and easy to follow. You want to make sure that it's up to date, of course, especially your contact information and your skills and your job descriptions. You want to make sure that all of that is up to date. If this is a job fair and you know that there's going to be a staffing firm present, I would suggest bringing 2 forms of ID just to be on the safe side. When I was a recruiter and I would recruit at off-site stations, we were still required to take a photocopy of the driver's license and also the second form of identification, just to put in our files, and we would upload it to our cloud, so that way we would have it ahead of time, just in case we wanted to send you on a job before you had to actually come back in and visit us. Proper forms of identification includes a photo ID. It can be a state ID or a driver's license. And you would also need a social security card or a birth certificate. Companies, they need to have copies of front and back for E-Verify purposes, and they are not to accept a copy of a copy. That's just a no-go. That's not how it's supposed to go if they're following the rules outlined by E-Verify. Number 4, you want to make sure that you develop a 30-second introduction. So this is very important because at a job fair, I'm sure there are multiple tables, there are lots of people walking around trying to show themselves off, and you might only get literally just a couple seconds to briefly introduce yourself to an employer. So you want to make the most of it. My suggestion is to really focus on what your skills are and what are your abilities. So it's simply just something as simple as, hi, my name is so-and-so. I don't know. I talk about the numbers of years of experience that you have in the industry or in a specific position. You can mention a place that you've graduated from, if you have any credentials. And then you can also talk about some of your specific skills and experience. And, of course, lastly, mention why you're even there at the event and why you chose to visit their table at this time. Lastly, you want to make sure that you collect a business card. So you want to open a channel of communication with the person. Well, you want to open a channel of communication with the employer. Also, with that, you want to inquire the interview process. What are the next steps? What should you expect? How does that typically go? Just so you can plan accordingly with how you're going to communicate with them moving forward. Be sure to follow up. That could be via email or through a phone call. I would first do an email to see if we can kind of schedule chatting before forcing, a phone call. We don't know how busy they are. This is my general information for preparing for a job fair. If you have any questions or if you have something you want me to touch on or expand on a little bit more, you can just send me a message and I'll look into it. Thank you. Goodbye.